All right, and we are
Live.
we're recording, but I'll edit this part out, so just give me a second.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, welcome to the Stories That Sell podcast. On today's episode, I have Yehuda Plotzker of Sleek Marketing. He is the founder of Sleek Marketing, and he works with financial advisors and life insurance agents in the insurance industry. Super excited to have him on. Good friend. We've worked together for years. I'm finally able to interview him and put him on the platform. Yehuda, thanks for hopping on, man.
Thanks for having me. Honestly, I've been meaning to do podcasts and content for a while because, like the podcast says, stories are really what sell. But then you just get so caught up in the day to day. So I appreciate you having me on. Actually making me like, hey, let's do this.
Yeah, of course, man. So I want to hop right into this because for those who are watching this right now, we were actually talking for like the past 20 minutes, and then it was getting really good, and I'm like, shit, we need to record this. So for anyone who's meeting you for the first time, who is Yehuda and what is Sleek Marketing?
So who is Yehuda? It's a great question. Constantly evolving, but in a professional capacity, I am somebody who has a passion and pretty much only know the insurance industry. My first real job was selling life insurance and then transitioned into the marketing side. And now I've transitioned into the agency building and building other agency side. Yeah, after being in the industry for nearly 10 years and really speaking, thousands upon thousands of agents, you really get a sense of what works and what doesn't on a high level view that most agents don't. And you really see why most agents actually fail in the industry. So here at Sleek Marketing, we really like to take that knowledge and put it in place for agency builders who really they want to scale, but they're running into issues that most people do, which is 90% of the industry fails. So we
No.
come in and we really help them put that stuff in place to ensure their consistent growth.
Awesome. So I think one of the most important things is like, obviously you're on a mission to help agents. And obviously there are a lot of agents. I think we would both agree that the barrier to entry into life insurance is very, very low. And so we
Yeah.
get a lot of tire kickers. We get a lot of probably people who aren't serious about the craft and about the industry. But before we even get to that, it takes a lot to build up a business that is helping other businesses grow. So
Yes.
it takes a special kind of person, a special kind of personality to be able to withstand the people that we deal with sometimes in that
Mm-hmm.
process and helping them kind of build their businesses, right? So
Yeah.
to talk about you and kind of what makes Yehuda who he is, like tell me a little bit about like you growing up and like what parts of your upbringing shape the way that you think today, because it does take a special kind of person to be able to like I said, work with other businesses and business owners and different personalities and build businesses.
Yeah, absolutely. So growing up, I'm the youngest of four. And growing up, also hardcore ADHD kid. Also, old school parents, gotta have that A on their report card. Tie it all together, and you get someone who was desperately unhappy in school because I needed to get that A. I needed to study to get that A, but also I didn't have the patience to sit there and study to get that A. So couple that with the fact that my dad was self-employed. So I saw my dad, he was a hard worker, but he also had that freedom where we were able to do things during the day. So I kind of saw that as like, well, yes, school is important. Clearly, grew up in a traditional Jewish household. Education is always number one. But I also saw it as it's not the only route. Granted, my dad was an accountant, required education for that, but I also understood, hey, business is something potential. There's a potential there. You don't need to go to school necessarily, go to college. and get that degree to ultimately, get a job where you're in a cubicle for 40 hours a week. So that's kind of where like I started being like, hey, maybe business is a legit route. Ended up getting licensed with New York Life, and that was really my first foray into the world of business, into the world of you eat what you kill.
No.
And
Okay.
then from there transitioned into the marketing side of things and the agency building.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people don't realize how many entrepreneurs are very, very ADHD. A lot of us probably autistic too.
Yeah.
You have to have like a very, very special kind of mind to deal with the stresses of building a business, and also on the school side, I'm same way, man. I was not able to focus in school. It was terrible,
Yeah.
but business worked out pretty good. So before marketing, right? Before you got into the marketing, before you got into New York Life and insurance, like growing up, what would you say is like, what did you think your life was going to look like as you were growing up?
I mean, traditional Jewish family, it was going to be the doctor, lawyer, or accountant, right?
No.
And my dad actually wanted me to take over his accounting firm, but that would have required going to school. And at one point, I was actually doing pre-med because in my mind, I was like, I always want to make sure I'm financially secure,
No.
which is 100% why I became a business owner, for the financial security, like everyone else. But after being in, college pre-med for like 2 years, I was like, another 8 years of this and it only gets more tedious. Screw that. No, not going to happen. But yeah, I always thought, I would go the traditional, get a high paying job route. Business was kind of on the back of my mind because watching my dad, but it was never real until I was like forced to confront the fact of I don't have the patience to actually do college.
No.
And
That's a
at that
tough route,
point,
man.
yeah, well, it definitely is, and I admire those who do it. I also feel bad for those who do it in today's day and age. I mean, college is training people for jobs that were 20 years ago. They're not training them for jobs in 20 years.
Yeah.
And
100%.
especially with the rise of AI, I mean, a lot of businesses, even marketing businesses, are becoming a lot more streamlined. And at some, on some level, a lot of marketing professionals are becoming obsolete too.
Absolutely. If people understood what's out there and what's being built, like unless you're on the forefront of it, it can eat up a lot of jobs, or it can make your job really fucking easy. You
Yeah,
choose what path you want to go. You know what I mean?
yeah, I'm
Like there's
100.
people who are going to school to learn AI. I'm like, the best way to learn AI is to fucking use AI. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Going to college
yeah.
for it makes no sense unless you're building out the platforms and large language models that are like actually creating the apps that people use. But if you're going there to use it for like marketing purposes or for your own agency, it's like, dude, just go on YouTube, look at what's most relevant, and just implement. Test out
And
and implement.
100%, and then give it a month, and that's going to be obsolete itself.
Yeah,
Meta, Facebook, they just bought Manus.
I know. I
I can
like that.
really
I like that position.
Manus is amazing. I mean, to any agent, any business owner who's watching this, go sign up for Manus. Lowest tier is $20 a month. Okay, you spend that on coffee. Okay, $20 a month. Start playing around with it. It integrates with Facebook. Give it 6 months. I am predicting that within 6 months, you will be able to create. Currently, you can create your creatives, your copy, and your landing page all inside Manus. You can currently do that. They're also beta testing syncing it with ad accounts. Give it 6 months, and I'm predicting you can create everything inside Manus, then tell Manus, push this into my ad accounts at X budget a day. You won't even need to go into the ad account, and your ads will be live. Then At the end of every couple of days, you tell Manus, hey, pull the data. What's currently working in my ads? What's currently not? Make changes based upon what's not working and what is. I foresee that you'll be able to do that within the next 6 months.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
won't
even right
need.
now, like even within Meta right now, they've implemented so much AI into the back end of Facebook ads, like Meta ads. People don't even realize it, and obviously, the way that you create ads has to change, and so the cost is a little bit higher. But your targeting and your intent and getting in front of the right people is so much higher on Facebook now than it was 3 months ago. So
Yeah,
it's, when with the acquisition of Manus, it's going to be awesome. I also Claude is fucking
yeah,
incredible. Claude is
yeah.
incredible, and I don't. We could go in for days on that. I mean, I think right now there are specialties between all these apps: ChatGPT, Manus, Claude, Gemini. I mean, all of them have things that they do really well and things that they don't do really well. But I think if you learn how to use all of them together, you can do some fucking dangerous shit with your business. But I
Oh,
didn't.
I'm
Go ahead.
predicting that there. I'm predicting that in the next couple of years, there's going to be a unicorn with a sub 10-person team. You just use a host of AI tools to replace what normally dozens of employees or hundreds of employees would have done, and you will have a billion-dollar company with a sub 10-person team.
Yeah, yeah. You could do that right now. You could go. There's. Have you heard of OpenClaw?
Yeah.
All right. So for those who don't know what OpenClaw is basically it's basically AI with no fucking barriers. You have to create guardrails. It could be very dangerous. There's people who lost a ton of money because they give access to their cards and shit. Don't recommend doing that. But if you use something like God, what's the name of it? It is
Claude Bot.
productivebot.ai, right?
There's also
Productivebot.
Claude Bot.
Yeah, so productivebot.ai is Claudebot built within a Mac Mini with all the guardrails in place already built. Because building out OpenBot is like a 2 week head scratching, stressful experience because there's a lot of different things you have to do. With productive AI, literally you just open up chat, it's already built out, and then you just start telling it what you need to do. So you basically have plug and play in like 10 minutes with Open. So that saves you 2 weeks of time, and it gives you the Mac Mini. You just need a monitor and a mouse to chat with it, and then you're good to go. Now, there are people who are taking ChatGPT to get the ideas of businesses. Then they're running that idea that ChatGPT gives it to them, and they're putting in Claude and saying, "Give me the code to build this out on site," whether it's like a SaaS or whatever the case may be, whatever it is, a website. So it takes ChatGPT to give the idea of the business, takes that idea from ChatGPT, put it into Claude to give you the coding for it. Then you take that, put it in Manus to build out the site for you, and then you deploy it on OpenBot and let OpenBot manage it however it needs to be managed. You could create an entire business for less than $100 a month.
Oh, easy. I mean, with AI and the info products, it's insane. There was this kid where he built out this entire financial guru Instagram channel and built up a following really quickly using AI videos. And he would have a link in bio where you can buy like an ebook on financial strategies. 16-year-old kid made $300,000 in his first week.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. And they're all low ticket, probably like a $5 ebook too.
Yep,
Crazy.
I think it was
It's
like
crazy. It's
I think it was like
crazy.
yeah, I think it was like
Yeah,
$17.
yeah. It's unreal what you could do. Like, I mean, and that's what gets a little scary because you might elevate the wrong people into spots that they probably don't deserve. If they're,
Yeah, and
here's the key too, right? Like, it's great to build
mhm,
it and have automations that can do all that, but you should also be learning about all that stuff in the process too. Because
sure.
if not, if shit goes off the rails and you don't know what you're doing, it could be very dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, talking about that story where people lost tons of money, I saw a story recently where somebody, for his Claude bot, one of these, AI things where they manage everything, somebody got access to his API keys. And they went in, he had his cards hooked up. They ended up billing, I think it was a startup. So they're running on a shoestring budget.
Yep.
And somebody basically spent, I think, $138,000 in 1 week on Google.
Yeah.
And now they're fighting with Google to get their money back because if they don't get that money back, they're done. They're
Yeah. And
done.
they're not going to get it back, by the way.
No,
Google will
no, they're
take them
not.
to court and run them dry. That's what Google does. Shout out to
Yep.
Google. But no, there's another person, dude, and this is why it's so important to have like guardrails on all your shit. There's another person who put their card on file, like for when he wanted his Claude bot to go like book a flight, or order reservations, or order something off Amazon, whatever the case may be, right? And the Claude bot got, because there were no guardrails on it, and this shit sounds like something out of a, God, what's that TV show where it's like just
Black Mirror.
random? Yes, it's like a Black Mirror episode. This guy had no guardrails on his OpenClaw, and the AI, the OpenClaw bot that he created, the agent, got tired of doing the work himself, so took his card and go bought a different bot from a different website to do the work for the bot because the bot didn't want to do the work. How fucking
Yeah,
nutty is
yeah.
that?
It's You can tell that it was created by humans because it mimics us. You now have AI bots hiring people to do jobs.
It's unreal. It's unreal.
It's
What a
it's
weird
this
time we live in.
it's dystopian, and this is why, like, this is the problem where AI is advancing so rapidly, legislature just can't keep up.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not the person to ever like say that government needs more oversight on shit.
I
But this
agree.
is
I
something that
agree.
needs a ton of oversight. There needs to
Less,
be.
less. Mhm. I completely agree with you. Like, I will say my opinion on this has fully changed. Like, I used to believe like you will eat by the sweat of your brow. I now believe probably within the next decade to two, we will probably need some form of universal basic income. We will, because so many people are just won't be able to enter the market because capitalism does as capitalism does. And why would I hire a person? Why would I hire an entire department to do something and spend, 200 grand a month on salary for an entire department when I can just create three AI bots for $300 a month to do the entire thing?
Yep.
I will say though, I
It's,
cannot wait until AI. I cannot wait until AI does HR. I can't wait until the AI until the HR department does AI.
yeah. So, all
That's
right,
going to be
let's get
fantastic.
back on track. Let's get back on track
Yes.
because we could probably do an entire fucking series on just AI and the craziness of
Yeah.
it. So, all right.
Yeah.
So, you said that you got your first lick into entrepreneurship with New York Life, selling life insurance. What was it about like insurance that initially attracted you? Like, and then not only that, but what surprised you once you got inside of the industry?
Okay. So what initially attracted me to insurance was honestly the TV shows of Wall Street. The glitz, the glamour, the money. And I was like, I want that. So I was like, what's the easiest way I can get in to finance? Well, let me start with insurance, right? And like you said, insurance, incredibly low barrier to entry. What surprised me though, and looking back, it shouldn't have surprised me, is the incredibly high barrier of success required. And this is going to be very controversial for a lot of insurance agents, but most people who are in insurance should not be in insurance.
I don't think that's
The,
controversial at all. I think it's fact.
the, I know, but a lot
I've
of
been saying
agents are
that
going to be like,
for
what do you
years.
mean I shouldn't be in insurance? Look, here's the facts. If you've been in the industry for a couple years and you're still not able to do it full time, bro, just go back to your job.
Yep.
There's no shame in that. There's no shame in that, but
That's
bro, go back to your job.
that right there.
You know? And I think that's just the problem, just in general. People hold on to a dying ship for way too long because of the sunk cost fallacy. Sometimes a business is meant to go under. Sometimes you're not meant to be in that sales job. But your ego is tied to it, and many times that prevents you from better opportunities.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
That's what
It's
really. Mhm.
it takes a special skill set to be successful in, and it's not even insurance. I don't even think insurance is hard. It's the
It's
skill set that you need
sales.
to have to be good at sales. Sales is the skill set. Sales, if you can learn the skill set of sales, if you can learn how to speak to people, you will always be fed. Your pockets will always be full. You'll always be okay. The problem is that everyone wants to, and we're going to tie back to fucking AI right now, but everyone wants to automate the entire fucking process of everything. If you don't know how to have a conversation with people,
Mm-hmm.
then you're not, it doesn't matter how many people you get in front of, everything is going to seem like a bad lead because you don't know how to close.
Yep.
And you have to set yourself up to not just get a lead, but also get them to show up. And once they show up, then you have to actually know how to sell. And a lot of times, like as marketing agency owners, and I think that it's great that we both also come from insurance, so we could speak to both sides of it. It's very easy for insurance agents to blame marketers for a salesperson, whatever the industry, for their lack of results, instead of just
Mm-hmm.
looking themselves in the mirror and saying, I fucking suck at sales. What do I need to do to be better at sales? Because as long as you have an opportunity of someone sitting in front of you, there's a chance to sell something.
100%. It reminds me of, there's this one client I had where she signs up, we start running the ads to help her get more agents for her agency. Because that's really what we specialize in, is helping insurance agents who want to scale their agency. We help them hire more agents. She signs up with us. At the end of the month, she's like, hey, I'm not going to renew. I didn't get any results. And I'm like, okay, what do you mean? Because we checked the ads and you had gotten 70 people filling out your ads over that month. Like, you're going to tell me you didn't even get a single agent? Let's kind of take a look. And instead of following our process that we laid out to her, like, hey, if you do this, you're going to get results, instead she would get a lead and she would send this entire chapter to them of, hey, I just saw your resume, I saw your application, it looks great, blah, blah, blah. She wouldn't try to call them. She wouldn't do anything. She'd be like, hey, if you're interested, watch this video and then let me know.
Yeah.
Most agents are like that. They expect people to come to them credit card out. And that is the biggest issue in the industry. You hear from lead vendors all the time. This is why, like, I love Chase McAllister's whole thing. His motto is call your fucking leads. Because that's literally why most agents are not successful. They'll call a lead once or twice. Oh, they're not picking up, moving on to the next. They're not willing to smile and dial for dollars. But then on the flip side, I'll say this, and I know this is probably going to be very controversial amongst a lot of salespeople. I don't think Tony Robbins is a good salesperson. He is a phenomenal storyteller. He's a phenomenal storyteller. And if you are a phenomenal storyteller, you don't need to be a good salesperson. And that, kind of ties into the theme of the podcast, which is your message. Stories that sell. You can be a shitty salesperson, but if you can convey a story to pre-retirees about the struggles of retirement and the fears of running out of money, and you can consistently convey that story, you're going to have people all day who are going to come to you, credit card out, looking to buy an annuity. And that's where I think, like, a lot of agents go wrong, if they're just not willing to invest in the skill to become a good storyteller or become a good salesperson.
I agree. And it just ties back to what I was saying earlier. It's like they want to automate everything. They don't want to deal with what it takes to be a business owner, which is talking to people. I've
Yep.
I have invested so much time and money over the last year into like really putting processes in place to make sure that we're talking to as many people as possible. To the point now that it's like for us to hit the goals that we want to hit, we know exactly how many people we need to talk to each week to get to our
Yep.
goals. We track every appointment that gets set. We track every appointment that that shows, that cancels. I know everybody's, show rates. For me, I have an 83.6% show rate on appointments that are set for me. My sales guy, his is like 46%, 47%. And it's because he's missing like one piece of the SOP that I keep reminding him, like, this is the one thing that's the difference between doubling the amount of people who are going to show up for you.
Yep.
So, from there, it's on him to fix that piece.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've got it down. I've got it down to a science on like how to get people to show up. And that's the most important thing. When I can have someone show up to a call and I could talk to them face to face like this, it's very easy for me to just like explain the value of what we're doing because I'm able to learn about you. It's not
Yep.
a phone
Yep.
call. Like I don't have show rates on phone calls. I'm having show rates on people showing up to Zoom calls like this. And that's more powerful. I want people to see my face. I want them to hear my voice and see my face. I want to see their face. I want to learn about them and their businesses. And people aren't willing to do that anymore. They just want to, if they can talk, cool. If they can text, better, because it's very passive. It's very
Yep.
easy. If it's email, but the problem is the average consumer has already they're already they've been so saturated with email marketing, with text marketing. I mean, even me as a marketer, I get marketed to as a marketing agency. Of Yesterday, I had almost 40 marketing emails of like people
Yeah.
cold emailing me. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, if I keep pressing spam on all these emails, my email is going to get spammed because
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
so it's interesting to me because uh, we've lost the art of like just being human and just
Yep.
talking to people. Even in a
Yep.
digital world,
And
you can still do that.
yeah, and that's why I think, having a story matters so much because, you know, everything you're saying, we are in the lowest trust economy that we have been in decades. People, they're marketed to so much, they're made all these kinds of promises so often that we're in the lowest trust economy that you have to have a story that builds that trust. Here's actually the average buyer's journey now. They see your ad, they ignore it. They see your ad again, they ignore it. They see your ad a third time, then they look you up online. If you have YouTube content, they'll consume your YouTube content. If you have Instagram content, they'll consume your Instagram content. Then they'll see your ad again. Then they'll book a call. Then they'll buy because if you have the content out there, now you've actually built that trust. Like
Taking
you
them
see
through
with
a
the whole
journey.
Yeah, you see the whole Kyle Busch situation that's happening now. Even on the consumer side, the trust is so low. The best performing IUL ad we have is talking about, hey, I know your trust is low. Maybe you've been screwed. So you're very much pointing out that, hey, you have no trust. I understand that. Let me earn your trust. I'm not trying to sell you. I'm trying to earn your trust.
That's how it needs to be. That's how it
Yeah.
needs to be. And I think you perfectly laid it out, man. There's so many steps to even getting a lead now that it's so hard not to have intent behind it when they do show up, which is why it's so much more important to be in front of them. Dude, I'll say this. I still take sales calls because I love doing sales. I'm very good at it and it drives revenue, right? But one of the best parts of still taking sales calls for my team is that I love hopping on a sales call and then the person that I'm like is on the other line, the lead, when they see my face and they're like, "Oh, dude, you're the one from the ad. I didn't think I was going to be talking to you."
Yep.
I'm like, "Dude, that makes me feel really good." It's like, yeah, dude, your video was great. Like you explained exactly what I'm going through. So like, you know what I'm going through. I'm like, yeah, but I don't know about you. Like, tell me about your
Yeah,
business, right? So
and
that trust is
and that.
already built in,
Mhm.
and it's great, you know.
Yeah, and that's also why stories are so powerful. An ad nowadays can no longer be like, interesting, let me learn more. A good ad now is like, holy cow, how did they know that? That's where the story is so important. Like I always say, this is a great easy example because it's one of the most largely advertised industries where a story is so powerful, and why it allows you to charge so much more, make so much more, is there's three stages when it comes to marketing in the fitness industry. One is I help you get in shape. Cool. You know who else helps me get in shape? The 70 other people right at the gym down the street. That's phase number one of marketing. Phase number two is I help busy professionals get in shape, or I help postpartum moms get in shape. Great. That's phase number two. We're going a little more specific. Phase number three, which is what stops the scroll for the people you want, is I help postpartum moms feel sexy again. I help busy professionals build that desire with their wife again. So your target audience, who now has a very specific pain point, as opposed to, hey, I just want to get in shape. You know who else wants to get in shape? Everyone. You know who has the discipline to get in shape? Almost no one. But instead, that person, that mom, she just had her second kid. She's looking at her stretch mark. She's looking, like the little bit of like loose skin. She's like, I don't feel desirable right now. You're going to help me as a postpartum mom feel sexy again? Let's talk. You know what? I'm a busy professional who maybe has a dead bedroom. You're going to make my wife desire me again? Let's talk. That's a story that the person has built up in their head. And now you're just saying the right words that activate that story is, I'm going to help your wife desire you again. All of a sudden, that person's coming and they're willing to pay so much more.
And you know what? Like, I think we have an advantage as people who have also came from the industry, and we niche down in the industry we come from, where we
Yep.
can talk to agents in a way that they understand. And we can tell these
Yep.
stories because those people understand and we understand because we've been through it, you know, and,
Yep.
and I think that, and this is probably, you've been talking about controversy. Maybe this is controversial because a lot of people love this guy, and I do too, don't get me wrong. But I feel like Alex Hormozy just made the marketing industry a million times worse for consumers and for the marketers, because he just tells everyone, just go out, make a fucking crazy guarantee, and then pay a marketing agency to go do the work for you, and just do that at rinse, wash, repeat. And so you have this flood of people who send out shitty cold emails, who send out, you know, tons of ads that don't make any sense. They put these wild guarantees and promises. They don't know how to speak to the audience in a way that makes sense business wise. But they put out these crazy guarantees that to low to mid performing agencies, they might hear a guarantee. Oh, there's a guarantee on it that you're going to get me 100 quotes, right? Or 100 prospects. First off, that person they don't know anything about marketing. And then they hear you're going to get 100 prospects for $250 a month in ad spend. It's like, it's too good to be true. And then when it happens and it's too good to be true and they lose that money, now they look at the entire industry as like, you guys are terrible. You guys are
Yep.
scam artists and it's fraud and blah, 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 and all these
Yeah.
things. And so I blame Hormozy for that because he is the person who has crafted marketers to give these obnoxious guarantees and flood the market and basically just amplify everything that is wrong with marketing, like marketing agencies and marketing owners.
Yeah.
But yeah, telling a story is so important. And we do have an advantage coming from the industry because we can speak to them. We understand it. We know it,
Yeah.
all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
my question for you, oh, go ahead.
I'll say this. I want to blame Hormozy because he was actually able to back up his guarantee. He was
Yeah.
able to back it up. Most marketing agencies can't. So they took the model that worked for Hermosi, and he was probably preaching to marketing agencies that, like, hey, you got to back up your model. And then you had a lot of marketing agencies who, frankly, they couldn't. That's why I don't do guarantees. If you want a guarantee, please get off the call because
Yeah.
I'm not willing to do that. When you're in trouble and you go to a lawyer, does the lawyer guarantee that he's going to get you off? No, he'll try his damn best.
Yeah.
Does the doctor guarantee that you're going to get healthier? No, he'll do his damn best. Does the accountant guarantee that you're going to pay zero on taxes? No, he'll do his damn best. So, well, any legit service that enriches your life doesn't guarantee anything. Why, as a marketing agency who's supposed to enrich a business, why are you guaranteeing something? There's so many factors into
Yeah.
this, right?
It's an act of desperation, is what it is. It's a desperation attempt to just earn business and then dip off.
Yeah, there's a reason why the average marketing agency has a 3-month retention. That's just the facts.
No.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's tie back here. So, you owned Sleek Marketing. So, what was something that you noticed with agents, right? Because you're coming from the industry, you're in the
hmm
industry selling life insurance, you're working with other agents, you're working around other agents, you're meeting other agents. What did you notice about the way most agents were trying to grow that made you think, shit, there has to be a better way?
So my time at New York Life, my entire time at New York Life, I didn't really know about the wider industry. And at New York Life, like Mass Mutual, like the big companies, they don't talk about buying leads. They talk, you work your warm market. My issue was I was 21 when I entered the market. What warm market? My buddy's like, dude, I can't even afford to take my girlfriend out to dinner this weekend. I'm not buying life insurance. You know, so I ended up, working some business with that my dad was able to get me, some of his clients who were retiring, stuff like that. Did some business that way. But then ultimately, I was speaking, I remember, to the guy who recruited me, and he mentioned leads. So I bought a couple leads. Some were shitty, some were good. But I noticed that, hey, I'm young, I can figure out social media. Let me kind of figure it out. And that's kind of how I went down the rabbit hole. So I will say, for my time at New York Life, I think what a lot of agents were doing wrong is they were working hard, not smart. Like they were setting up tables at sporting events, all that kinds of stuff. Which I do think face to face, especially in today's day and age, I think is actually going to start working better. Setting up a table at a sporting event, I think is actually going to work better moving forward. But I think where a lot of agents are going wrong is just they're not vetting who their lead buyers are, I think. It's like, oh, you can get me, a bunch of leads. You can get me 100 leads for $500. Cool, let's do it. I think where a lot of agents are going wrong, and then they're blowing their budget, right? Because here's also the facts, right? Most agents are 1 to 2 months. Even if you're making $30,000 a month as an agent, you're probably 1 to 2 months away from being out of the industry. You have one bad month, maybe you have enough in leeway to cover ads and leads for the next month. You go 2 months, you're done. Where's your lead money coming from? So I think agents need to be a lot more selective, or agents need to actually start out part-time before going full-time, because otherwise you're going to fail. And like I see that also, like a lot of agents, they're just not selective on their lead spend, they're not selective on their leadership. I have seen many good agents burn out or be stuck making, a couple $1,000s a month, when they could be making so much more if they just had good leadership or good quality leads that they actually vetted.
I agree. I agree.
And,
And I think
and
that
then
ties
there's
back to like people just they hear these wild guarantees from these people who aren't qualified and don't have the experience, don't come from the industry,
yeah,
don't have the marketing background, and they jump all over these wild guarantees that realistically can't be made, and then they get disappointed and realize that it's a sham, and so
yeah.
yeah,
I th-
it's
I think I think there's a lot of also three-letter companies. We're not going to specify who, but there's a lot of three-letter companies who have also really ruined the industry over COVID, especially because stories are an incredibly powerful marketing tool for good and for evil. You have somebody, they're working a job at McDonald's making 12 bucks an hour. Of course, they dream of a better life. Late one night, they're doom scrolling and they see this guy. You know, it reminds me of almost like the Ty Lopez when the marketing world was online marketing world was starting. Like flashing your Lambo, all that kinds of stuff. And like, hey, you can make this money too, selling insurance, right?
the grifter way.
The grifter way. And here's the facts: you're not going to make a ton of money the average person is not going to make a ton of money right away. The average agent is not going to make six figures their first year, and that's okay. People need to be stopped lying to. I think that's also the biggest thing is just like the recruit mentality. You're just doing so many agents a disservice. Like that's one of the biggest things that, like, for my own clients, that why we clean up is there's so many agents who are making five, eight, $10,000 a month who are just disenfranchised because they're like, why is everyone else making so much more money than me? Most of them are not. Let's actually teach you like a legit, sustainable way to be in the industry. I'm not here to make you $30,000 a month. I'm here to make you $8,000 a month every month. That's what agents need to hear. It's you need to be sustainable before you can be rich. And they're trying to be rich
Yeah.
without being sustainable.
Yeah. And my biggest issue with the life industry specifically are agents who come into the industry being sold the lie that you just need to build a team under you,
Mm-hmm.
because you come in, you get licensed, you don't sell shit, so you don't know how to make money in life insurance, and you think I'm just going to recruit everyone and their mother under me and they'll make the money for me, and then those people are being sold the same lie you were sold. So now you just have a massive downline of a bunch of people who don't sell shit. They're not selling insurance, they're not making money. And so it's just this never ending cycle. And that's why a lot of people look at it as like an MLM,
Mm-hmm.
because the highest earners in life insurance are the people who produce themselves. The average,
Yeah,
like,
produce and have a team.
unless you're at the top and you're getting overrides from actual producers because you were there very, very early on, the way to make money is to learn how to sell yourself and continue to do that. And then you can build
Yeah,
a small handful of people under you who also learn the same skill sets that you have. And then at that point, then you'll do really well. But like you were saying, you need to have processes in place. You need to have, like, you need to learn how to be sustainable for yourself before you can have other people be, the sustaining
yep,
portion of your business for you.
yep. There's this one guy who's very well known in the insurance industry. I remember he was making like $150,000 a month in override commission. Great income, but he also had a team of 1,200 agents,
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
which means he's making what, about $100 per agent per month. That sounds exhausting to me. Like, you're doing these agents a disservice. Why are you recruiting 60 agents a month, 70 agents a month? Why are you doing that? You should be recruiting 10 agents and pouring into them, letting them make money. Like, I have another buddy of mine. His agency is doing 30 million a year, and he did that in 18 months. Went from zero to 30 million a year in 18 months. How many agencies can say they did that? Not many. but he's also doing it across about 400 writers, 400 agents on his team who are writing business, which is an incredible number. That means his average agent who writes any kind of business is making $8,000 a month. That is a full-time living
Yeah.
because he is actually pouring into these people. He's like, you join my team, I'm going to pour into you, not, hey, who wants to join my team? And I think that's also where a lot of these team builders go wrong, is they're just not pouring in. I don't have a problem if you want to build, but you can't build if you don't know how to pour into these people.
You also can't build if you
You
don't know how to do the job yourself.
100%. Like these are people who they're relying on you to help them make a living. It's almost like I'm building out a massive company. I hire someone to do a role. Hey, figure it out. I'm hiring someone else. That's not how it works. You're setting them up for failure. And showing them 3 shitty videos is not going to make them successful.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. My thoughts on the life insurance industry as a whole have been I've been very outspoken about it for years. You know, there's so much potential. There's so much potential there, man. So much potential.
Yeah.
But what I want to know is, being in the industry as long as you have now, both on the marketing and insurance side, what's a personal belief that you had to let go of in order to become the person that you are today?
And this kind of goes against what we were saying before about pouring into people. Most agents can't be helped. Most agents cannot be helped. You need to want it. And most agents have a champagne dream with a beer work ethic. You know, like I'll give you an example. The best performing ad that we have for one of our clients to recruit agents, and this kind of goes back to the whole storytelling, it paints the picture of you're an insurance agent who's making, between 6 to 10K a month. And frankly, 10K a month is when life really starts. Life only starts at 10K a month in today's economy. So you have a lot of agents who are making, 6 to 10K a month, and specifically the agents who he's going after are fathers with young children. And the vision we're painting is, imagine this. Imagine you're coming home from work, you're coming home from the office, your wife greets you at the door with your toddler and your 6-month-old, and she's smiling because she didn't have to deal with her shitty boss. She was able to spend all day with your kids. And you're happy because you were able to give her that. You were able to retire that. Because show me a man that does not desire that for his wife and kids, and I will show you a man with low testosterone. So you paint that picture of the man who's already had success in the industry, and he has a why, a very clear why of why I want more success. Why 10K a month isn't enough. I need to make 15, 20K a month because that's going to allow my wife to be the mother and wife that she has always wanted to be. It allows me to get home from the table. And if people want to come for me for this, but it allows me to come home from work and there's dinner on the table. What man doesn't want dinner on the table when he comes home from work? That man has a very clear why, and he's very clear on what he's going to do to get it. So going after, I think where a lot of agents go wrong is they don't have that work ethic, which is why for this client, we go after the agent who's like, I'm willing to do whatever the hell it takes to get that vision you just described. Because otherwise, if I have to hire another 22-year-old agent who's becoming an agent because he saw on TikTok the guy with the Lambo, I will shoot myself and then I will shoot him. Because that is not why you should be in the industry. You need a very clear why, and most agents don't have that.
I agree. So we're going to end on this. This is the final question that I have for you. With that being said, what is the story that you're trying to live now?
The
Whether it's
story that I'm trying
personal,
to,
business.
the personal story that I'm trying to live is that of freedom. I am 30 years old. I'm at that point where I want to settle down. I want to start a family. I'd like to meet, my best friend, quote unquote. I'm becoming a lot more selective on the type of work I do. I no longer want to wake up to a full calendar of sales calls. I want to wake up to 2 sales calls of people who know who I am, know what I do, like what I do. That's in my personal life. I want that life where, I can go to Europe for a month, run my business, and enjoy Europe. And professionally, that's also really what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build where I can do that, but also work with people who actually have a story of what they did in their life and how can I use that story to grow my own business, you know, and attract the people who should be in my business. That's really what I'm focusing on. I want to grow deep. I want to help agencies grow deep. I don't want to help them grow wide. If you want to grow wide, there's go on Indeed. Go on Indeed.
I agree. Well, Yehuda, man, thank you so much for hopping on the podcast today. For anyone who is listening and has got this far, how can anyone get a hold of you? Drop the socials, drop whatever contact info you have. So if people
Yeah,
want to do work with you, they can reach out to you.
the best way to reach out to me is on Facebook. My number, is 845-545-3140. Shoot me a text. Reach out to me on Facebook. My name is Yehuda Plotzker. Or this kind of ties into doing the story. I'm going to start doing more on Instagram, which is my Instagram is Yehuda Insurance Marketing. So it's Yehuda Insurance Marketing. You can reach out to me on there. I'm going to start posting more content there just so you can learn and understand some ways to craft your own story that will either attract more clients to you if that's what you want to do, or attract more agents to you if you want to build your agency. Because ultimately, a good story coupled with decent sales skills and a strong follow-up game will, in this industry nowadays, it will make you millions.
I agree. Well, Yehuda, man, thank you so much again. This was a great episode. We're going to have to do another one with you because you and I,
I'm looking forward to it.
we're going to have to do a whole AI episode. We're going to do a whole episode just on AI. But man, I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming on. As always good talking with you. And
you too, my friend.
We'll see you
I
soon.
appreciate you having me.
Anytime.
We'll talk soon. Bye.